Hello and welcome to week 6. This week's chapter, and this week there's just one chapter rather than two that you've studied most of the time. Chapter 12 deals with people and organizations. And the authors have divided the chapter into three main categories, three broad categories. One is looking at management functions. Another one is to take a look at management skills. And a third one is to look at management structures. The textbook takes a traditional approach to discussing the management functions and looks at those in terms of the following: planning, organizing, directing, and controlling. Those are what most people would consider management functions. Any manager would to some extent would perform all of those functions, and certainly the first one we talked about, planning, that's the very nature of being a manager. To be a manager is to plan. To be a manager is to execute a plan, and to be a manager is to execute a plan in the direction of and to achieve some stated goals and objectives. So the authors will talk a lot about that with text material and some situational examples as well. A part of the discussion of Chapter 12 also gets into the skills of managers. Different categories are needed for making different kinds of decisions. So they will talk about in the text technical skills, conceptual skills, interpersonal skills, basically, being able to communicate with your employees, being able to communicate generally in writing and to communicate orally, and decision-making skills, making good decisions, having ways to present well thought-out decisions to employees, and in a sense to whoever needs to carry out the decision, to make a good decision, and then to present that in a logical fashion to whoever is involved in sort of carrying that out, that decision, or making that decision happen. Organizations change every day because the world in which they live, in which they evolve, are changing every day. So as competition changes, as technology changes, as the legal, political system of the country or the state or the city where the business is located, as that changes, as the social and behavioral characteristics of the population, the consumers and the employees in particular, as those things change, the organization changes. So the structure of the business that was very effective in the beginning days may not be as effective as these other changes happen, and the business owner, the manager, must be prepared to make adaptations for a new structure to meet the new reality of the world that the business lives in every day. So the authors talk about the functional structure of a business, dividing up the work, not only the supervisory work, but the other work, the actual, the manual labor work that goes into the business, the making of the product, the providing of the service, as well as the management functions that oversee all of those activities. Functional structure is one way to divide up the work in the business. Another one is the divisional structure, and the authors give a good discussion of both of those topics. Another organizational structure is the matrix structure. You might find that one interesting. You may be working in a job now where you're using a matrix structure. So pay attention to that one. You might find some interesting tidbits of information there. You may, if your work experience isn't lengthy and you're sort of early on in your working career, you might find that this discussion of the functional structure, divisional structure, matrix structure may give you some insights into why the company you work for has chosen to organize itself the way it is organized. Something else that's critical to the structure of the business is what we call the legal form, the actual legal form of the business. Is it structured as a proprietorship, a sole proprietorship, where there is one owner and maybe just a very few employees? As a matter of fact, many sole proprietorships are just a person, but it's possible that you may be working in a business that is organized as a sole proprietorship. You may, if you start your own business, you may use that form of organization to get the business started in the very beginning. So you might find that discussion of business, legal forms of business, such as the sole proprietorship. Then there's the partnership. The corporation is another one, and then the legal liability company, yet another form of legal ownership that you should take a look at there. So as you go through the chapter, try to put together those ideas as best you can, and looking at the people of the business and the organization structure of the business, and how those two huge elements are put together to reach the goals of the business, and to hopefully help the small business to become a successful business. So good luck again with your work in chapter 12.